everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and what I want to do is talk about what would happen if you had an Apples for All government program. If government just one day said, everybody gets all the apples that they want, okay? What would happen? Well, people are going to eat more apples because they're free. And everyone's going to be like, this is great, this solves world hunger, it gets rid of food deserts that don't have quality food, all sorts of great things. But the demand for apples is going to grow, which means the government is going to end up having to provide much more apples than expected, because oftentimes governments budget based on the demand that existed. But when you alter prices, demand changes. So you make something free, demand goes up. And oftentimes they under-predict the amount of that increase. As another bizarre incentive, what's going to happen is that since apples are a guaranteed market, so you grow apples as a farmer, you for sure can sell them to the government, what's going to happen is that creates an incentive to grow apples. So people who grow oranges will grow apples, people who grow almonds will grow apples. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot less of other crops, driving the prices of those other crops up. So now things like oranges and bananas become crops of the rich. And now I do understand that different crops grow in different areas better than others, but there will be that incentive to an extent. So what will happen as the government realizes it has to spend more on a growing demand for apples, and then two, having to tax more for a growing demand for apples, it's going to have an incentive to have to try to control that demand, which means it's going to start maybe limiting the number of apples people can get for free, or creating a surcharge to control the demand, and then it's no longer free. Either way, it's essentially rationing the thing that it said it would once provide. It just eventually happens. It may not happen in a year, it may not happen for several years, but it will eventually happen. And the result is, at this point, apples would have been free for so long that people would just believe that getting free apples was something that should be a right. It's a human right to get free apples. So the government is trying to abridge their rights. And you're going to have sort of a populist response to the fact that they may now have to pay a surcharge on apples or get a limit on how many free apples they get. And this creates all sorts of political tensions on top of the economic distortion as far as who grows what. That didn't need to happen. But this is essentially the same story you have when the government says they're going to provide free education for people or free healthcare for people. There's nothing wrong with getting something for free if something or someone is willing to give it to you for free. That's pretty cool. But the problem is, when you're expecting to get something for free on other people's money, it creates all sorts of bizarre incentives, and also can go on for a very long time, those bizarre incentives, and result in all sorts of really long-term ramifications. So point being is, think about this parable of the apples and think about how it reflects reality. My name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day.